Steve Harris from White Maiden and British Lion. You listen to Andrew McCasebit from Scars and Guitars.
G'day everybody, it's a pleasure to announce that this episode features a conversation with the great Steve Hughes. He's got a few dates across Queensland, they're coming up and I'll read out all three. Okay, so Thursday the 8th of May he's playing, or performing I should say. He's a musician so he could be playing elsewhere, but he's definitely performing his comedy routine at the Sit Down Comedy Club in the Paddo on the 8th of May. Friday the 9th of May, he's playing at Fitzy's at Loganholme, and Saturday the 10th of May, he'll bring it all home at the Wallaby Hotel in Mudgeeraba, a place where I've performed many, many times playing covers, and albeit either the Fitzy's gig or the Wallaby Hotel show. Now, throughout this conversation, it's an opportunity to discuss all sorts of political and social topics with Steve. I'm not going to give too much away in the introduction, but suffice to say, if you've got any insight at all, and I'd say you probably do if you're listening, into Steve's proclivity for slaying sacred cows, it's all on the table throughout this chat. And it's also a fantastic opportunity to talk to him about his tenure in Slaughterlord and also Nazxul, both classic Australian thrash and black metal outfits. So here he is, the great Steve Hughes. Mate, it's all fun and games until you got to use Zoom, right? Yeah. How you been? I would never expect you to remember these things, but we did catch up during the height of COVID and we had a great conversation about Trump and everything else.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, it was back when I hadn't quite, I've never had feet of clay, I'll tell you that now, but I've been attacked by the Brisbane Antifa mob. I've had a bunch of these fucking, I call them, the men with hips wider than their shoulders go after me online and what have you. And it doesn't bug me too much, but some of them are pretty persistent. And it was one of those things where I thought, I shouldn't have. These days, mate, whatever you want to put to air is going to air. I don't give a fuck about them. They can go and fuck themselves as far as I'm concerned.
They're very boring, aren't they?
Oh, mate, you have travelled a lot. You are worldly, Steve, so you understand these things. My wife's family live in the Philippines, mate. We've seen the other side of the world, and mate, you have no right to complain about anything if you live in Australia or Great Britain or what have you. But mate, don't they? And they cause all of the problems.
Well, I don't know if you don't have things to complain about, but you certainly got things to complain about from your own government and their treasonous ways. But the fact that they're constantly they're oppressed is always quite astounding, eh?
Mate, it is.
I can't remember. I grew up with lots of women. I can't remember one of them ever going, you know what? I feel oppressed, Steve. I thought something like that they might have brought up. Yeah. They were just sitting in the car and drinking beer and going to the parties and going to the gigs with us. I didn't see the problem, apparently. Yeah. But you know what's funny? It's almost like they're like all this, all the racists and the Nazis and the homophobes. Like you're 40 years too late. Like I saw the other day, the gay Mardi Gras, the 47th anniversary. I'm going, so it's been going 47 years.
Yeah.
Like,
Mate, you and I both grew up in Sydney, so we both have some experience with this. Like the Mardi Gras was one of the peak events of the calendar that most people went out to. They'd go into the Cross and into the city or whatever else, and they'd party up with the gays, if you want me to call them that. And these are all straight as an arrow blokes and women and all the rest of it. I'm just talking about outwardly in our lifetime, like when exactly have they been discriminated against and exactly how?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure there's a few things, but as a metalhead, I got discriminated against. As back in the day, if you are a minority, as they talk about, well, things can be tougher. But so what? Sometimes you get advantages. The fact that it's tougher, like sometimes your personality grows and the way you see the world is different. And so sometimes you learn how to carve your own path through things. And it's like, it's just very boring now. When we grew up in the 80s and all that, if you're a metalhead or a gay or something, it was always like, well, I'm who I am and I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. That was, yeah, okay, great. Now it's like, well, you're all better just to agree with me and just stop it, please. We've got bigger problems. It's all distraction.
Mm. Yeah, it's never about cost of living from these people on the far left, is it? It's all about things, to your point, that were sold 40 or 50 years ago.
Yeah, like, Culture Club became number one in America in 1981 or something. Like America.
Mm.
I mean, Europe was already ahead with the gays and stuff. You didn't really care, America was still pretty conservative. Australia was conservative. Boy George had a massive career. Everyone went, oh, yeah, well, whatever.
Mate, name one person that wouldn't say Freddie Mercury was the greatest rock vocalist in history.
I know,
that's what I'm saying.
White shorts and no shoes. We're all watching Rob Halford from Judas Priest be gay.
Yeah.
Mr. Humphreys from Are You Being Served? And Bronski Beat.
Yeah.
Especially my age, Generation X, the forgotten generation. It's always like, that was our whole point. No, we don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to be, mate. I liked the Outcasts. That's who I liked.
Mm.
Metalheads, goths, punks, gays, theatre people.
Mm-hmm.
They were interesting. The mainstreamers I didn't like.
Well, can you imagine having any discriminatory views and airing them in front of Ian Roberts back when he was playing for Manly and he was bruising for men?
No,
can you imagine that?
No one can be bothered anymore. Like, it's not 1974 in Dubbo.
Yeah. But that's the impression that you get, isn't it? They're railing against things that are decades beyond, and so many people I've spoken to for the show have made that point, that it's like the left have never moved on. It's they keep on eating themselves and going back in time and saying, we've got this discrimination we need to fight against, or this ism we need to fight against. They're just creating it.
Well, I guess they've all been suckered into the agenda, and there's ones at the top that know it's an agenda and they push it nonetheless. It's a globalist agenda, isn't it? So
yeah,
focus on everything that's everything that's a minority, really, to crush the majority. Where in the olden days, when I grew up, the majority was catered for, because that's what's probably the best thing to cater for, to make your society function. You'd sit up all night and watch 6 hours of rock shows to get 4 heavy metal songs. Why? Because most people don't want it. They want Michael Jackson and Madonna. So you sit through it, you get what you're given, and you understand. Well, most people don't want to see Iron Maiden 1981. They want to see In Excess. So it just is what it is, isn't it? But now majority is everything. It's not just a gay or an immigrant or anything, or it's when they slow you down on the motorway with their digital speed signs because there's a car broken down on the side of the road.
Yeah.
See, that's a majority. One bloke, you're going to slow down the entire motorway, which has got people going to meetings and keeping your economy functioning and doing this and going to work, or having ambulances or people driving somewhere they need to get to quickly. But you want to slow it down because for the safety of one guy who broke down on the side of the road. But we never heard like another guy who broke down on the side of the road's been killed today. It wasn't like suddenly everyone that broke down was getting killed. It's just now we all safety. In England, I was in a toilet in a service station. They'd just redone it. They put a hand dryer in there, but it was only for people in wheelchairs.
Right.
It wasn't another one. Even though 99.9% of people in England aren't in wheelchairs. But now we cater to the minority. Right? Suddenly you go to Asda and there's 47 disabled parking things out the front, right? But most people who are disabled are probably getting their groceries delivered, because people who aren't disabled get their groceries delivered, So,
yeah. But what's your take?
Focused on that's why I focus on gays. Why? They're a minority. Why? They don't produce life. So it's all anti-life. Everything that's nature in the universe is inverted, isn't it? So don't focus on the majority of people who create life, heterosexual people who create gays. We make the gays. Without us, there is no gays.
Mm.
Yeah, right. And suddenly the gays have been tricked, and now they've joined the system. They've joined the agenda. Who used to lock them up? We never locked them up. So is the system that used to lock gays up, and the church. Are they going to? Because now, we're going to watch you on YouTube so you don't say anything because we'll ban you. Why? Because what you say could have an influence. Well, do you think locking gays up and saying that they're all going to go to hell had an influence? So why don't you take responsibility for locking them up and causing perhaps an attitude amongst the general population about homosexuals? You're going to say, no, we just swap sides now. It's like
it's not.
So it's a constant focus on what? Well, the immigrants and anything that's in a minority. And now that word's used so much. Anybody that hears just the word minority, I think, these are my opinions, just suddenly thinks that someone's suffering. No, but it's just anyone. Someone broken down the side of the road, constantly focusing on the minority under the guise of safety and non-discriminatory ideas, and then basically taking away the rights of the majority. Because it's like when you go, you shouldn't be able to discriminate against hiring someone, the way they're dressed. Well, now you've taken away the power of the individual business owner to make a choice about how he wants to run his business. So if you've got your garden centre and a guy, like a goth guy, turns up dressed like Dracula, and you go, no, I don't want to hire him and you look like that, mate. Now he can go, well, that's discrimination. Like, yeah, mate. I'm selling pot plants here. I don't need a vampire.
Well, we had a senator who used to dress up as the 4ZZZ, one of the board members of 4ZZZ, Andrew Bartlett, I think it was. He used to dress up as a bloody vampire, and he was a senator. So they managed to get into things, don't they? But just after everything that you said there, what's your take on the rise of these left-wing populist movements like Black Lives Matter and transgenders for Gaza and all of these things that seem to be paradoxical? Like, are they a symptom of deeper systemic failures or something else?
Oh, I think they're just I think there's just the constant focus. The media constantly feeds it. They've managed to, the long, slow march through the institutions, these sort of, as they call it. I think I sometimes think it's all started to really come alive in 2014. So I wonder if they thought, well, we've got 2 generations under our wing of programming them since they're in school. Now we'll unleash them as they come of age. And because it seems since 2014. And here's what's funny too. It's like, hate. Everything's hate now. I love that word too.
Yeah.
So you can't have a critic. You've just got a hater. And then they have hate laws and hate speech laws and hate crime and everything's hate. But hate's just an emotion. And then people start to get on their moral high horse, and then they forget that if I decide to hate a bunch of people for an ignorant reason, that's no one's business. It's not the cops' business. It's not the government's business. It's not your business. It's not your neighbour's business. Because we've already got laws if I act on that and start hurting people. But even then, the law doesn't come into why I hurt them. It may, if you want, premeditated or stuff like this, or it was an accident, so forth, right? But when people start go, yeah, but Steve, if so no one can tell you can't hate. I can hate all black people for no good reason my entire life and not do anything, not break any law. But as soon as you go, no, you can't, Steve, look, it's none of your concern. Because as soon as you go, you're not allowed to, then you got thought crime. Straight away. It's not the government's concern who I decide to hate. It's them and the cops' concern if I decide to go start hurting people or doing things. And we've already got laws for that, haven't we? The hate is no one's business.
So how just on that point then, how do you assess the role of censorship and free speech in shaping public discourse today?
Well, I think it's been going on so hard through the mainstream and everything that people, I think it's devised so that people start to self-censor themselves. You can see it in audiences. I watched a reaction video one night of this young chick, 20s or something, doing a music reaction video, and she likes to write things down then talk about the song or something at the end. Then she goes, yeah, and I got this pen here, this ugly ass pen, like one of these cardboard things. Then she goes, oh, I shouldn't pen shame. It's a beautiful pen. See, she self-monitored her own internal world of the way she sees the aesthetics of a biro. As if somehow she shouldn't pen shame. She should love all pens. No, love, you're allowed to think the pen is ugly. But you can see she self-monitors. She self-monitors herself. You see it in audiences sometimes. I don't know how people think before they laugh, which is always strange to me. But I've seen them in audiences where they go, oh, am I allowed to laugh at that? I don't know how you do that. I just...
Yeah.
It just comes out before Quite a skill these people have, really.
Yeah. But, you know, with economic inequality widening as well, like, this all seems to be an attack and realistically an attack on the white working class, doesn't it? What we're talking about here now. So
the middle class.
The middle, but we're all, you know, all of us are working 2 jobs in a household these days. When I say working class, you know, that like the middle working class.
But you know, it's the majority.
Yeah. But what do you think? What do you think the long-term impacts, or even let's focus on the midterm? What do you think the midterm impacts of that are going to be?
What, the free speech stuff?
Well, just the fact that we're being denied economic agency at the moment. So people can apply for hundreds of jobs, and based on how they can't tick these diversity boxes, they're not going to get an interview. You've probably heard about this. It's a big issue at the moment. But, you know, they want to know which box they can tick because they've got these diversity quotas, particularly in state governments and federal government agencies.
I've written a new joke about it, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I was just riffing it on stage, but then I thought this needs to improve, so I wrote a bit, actually, which I think will be much better.
Can you share any of it now? Can you give us a scoop or not? It's part of the routine, yeah. But, you know, what I'm talking about is that denying economic agency, it's already too difficult for most people to afford the deposit on a mortgage, so you're locked into renting, and therefore you don't really have a choice about where you rent. You've just got to go where you can afford, which makes sense.
Which is nowhere.
Well, I'm just talking about on paper. You go, okay, well, I've got to go here or I've got to go there, as opposed to I want to live in New Farm or the Valley or whatever it is. You've got to go and live in Darra or somewhere like that. Or I don't even know what Sydney's like these days. It's been a long time, but I imagine the Western Sydney's probably, you know.
Where are you? Melbourne.
Nah, Gold Coast these days.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I've been here a long time, but I grew up I spent my childhood in Sydney, so I can relate to it, you know. So, but my point is that the ability for you to make choices is being diminished at the moment for the reasons that I just outlined. And the question is, again, you know, what do you think the impacts of this are going to be on our Australian society in the mid to even long term?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a politician. To me, I think it's just all part. It's happening in all countries. That's why I don't understand why people don't wake up, because, you know, I mean, how come all of a sudden you can't smoke in bars basically all across the Western world, and then all of a sudden with feminism swear in Holland and France and Denmark and Norway and Sweden and America, and everybody's just a thing, and then there's transgender rights where in Denmark and Canada, and so it's just doesn't that show you that there's something running the whole thing? And I think sometimes they use different strategies, because, you know, some countries in Europe can still smoke inside, and go to Croatia, smoke it in the pub. You know, some are still a bit old, but in the old ways. But Australia and England, hardcore. Canada, France, Germany, states in a different way. Sometimes I used to theory that maybe they use different strategies on different cultures depending on how the culture sort of has its dominant ideas about how it runs itself, and then they use different strategies, you know. Because if it's Sweden's a big mess.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
Mind you, it's always been a big lefty mess, really. I'm just reading, I didn't realise how much. I was just reading a biography of the band ABBA, and lefties tried to shut them down when they won the Eurovision Song Contest in 1974, because they were too capitalist.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
the irony being is that their manager was a guy who actually came from poverty and made his way up.
Yeah.
And the guys who were shutting him down were upper middle class socialists. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But unless you buy into their ideology and spread their ideology, they come after you if you're in a pub.
Oh, yeah, they're very strange creatures, aren't they?
But you felt it a lot. I remember talking to Chris about this a while ago, that you couldn't get bookings in most venues.
Yeah, well, the comedy world went like that for a while. Comedy clubs. I just went underground again. I just did 5 shows. They're all sold out. Just go and do rock venues. Stay away from the comedy world. Or just get real people out there and have a laugh, you know. Must be horrible. Must be horrible being young and a lefty and just miserable all the time and trying to save the planet. I mean, people fell for things like Greta Thunberg or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Like some chick who apparently lived in the woods and now hasn't stopped for what since 2009. Like, come on, folks. Just because you had a little meltdown about climate change, you know, at your school, that doesn't warrant the United Nations rigging it the next day. How would they know? Next minute, she's on a boat off to see Barack Obama. I mean, I don't know how people fall for it.
Oh, they love their figureheads. They love Big Daddy telling them everything's going to, with soothing words, everything's going to be all right. And it's bullshit. They love that, don't they? They seem to want the figurehead, like what happened here during COVID with Anastasia Palaszczuk, mate. They like someone saying, I'm going to keep you safe. It's my job to keep you safe, like it's a nanny state. And you saw that.
They were creepy, those people.
Very strange. You're right. Mentally ill.
Yeah, those premiers or whatever they were.
Psychotic. I'd argue Western Australia and Queensland, Victoria in particular, it was psychotic.
Yeah.
It was evil. What happened to people there with the lockdowns and saying Queenslanders for Queenslanders, and we're going to lock people up in Victoria for how many days straight it was? I won't misquote it, but it was the longest in the Western Hemisphere, which is virtually the longest in the world. And Western Australia was locked up for months.
I'd gone to the UK 3 weeks before. So.
That's right. I remember you just got in when we caught up. Yeah. Yeah. So, but you are playing rock venues, though. You're playing the Wallaby and also Fitzy's, mate. So that'll go off. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yes.
You figured it out.
I'm doing one comedy venue to sit down, so we'll see if I'm allowed back after the show.
I just saw Yao Ying Summers there, and she was fantastic there. And the crowd there are a bit older, I noticed, so they'll get you.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Doug Stanhope was just there too. So
I saw him. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, brilliant. Oh, cool. Yeah, I love Dougie. You and I won't piss in your pocket, but you and Dougie are my 2 favourites. Yeah, right. And you know what Dougie's like. He just stands up there with a drink and just starts riffing about his experience on the airline or the flight he took or the terminal.
Sometimes he pulls it off. Sometimes he doesn't.
But it's funny watching him try and do it. And he used to use the Greek club, but something happened there. He wouldn't go back there again or something. I don't know.
Is he still wearing the funny suits?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the big tie and everything. Yeah. But it's good. It's like you, mate. It's an invective social comedy perspective that riffs on real things.
Yeah. It's not all comedy has to do that. I understand, but I think that you can't have any. It's just boring. It's always the comedy I liked. I mean, I like some wacky, stupid comedy that's just funny. Like Mitch Hedberg and stuff like that.
What do you think of Chappelle? Chappelle's routines are the last few Netflix specials.
I haven't seen them, really. I just see snippets of them. I mean, he's done some of the funniest skits in the world.
Yeah.
That one with the black fella who thinks he's white. He's in the KKK. That's the greatest comedy skit ever written, I reckon. Especially the end when he finds out he's black and then the final punchline joke is just so hilarious. God, it's funny.
How do you develop your content then? Is it as simple as an idea coming into your head and you just work on it, or have you got another method?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I just, I hear things on YouTube. I steal things from YouTube comment sections. Some people write some funny lines that aren't going to get used again. I go, I'm having that. That's my job. Like a bowerbird, to sniff around and find things. And sometimes you just say something. I just said something to my support act the other night in the dressing room, and I just went, I think that's a joke. And I've got my buddy who used to be the singer of Nazxul, that black metal band I was in. He's got a great sense of humour.
Yeah, great band. Yeah,
because he's Serbian, so I ring him up, and he's got a great sense of humour. So I try ideas out of him. And if I get him laughing,
well, but being a Serb Croats, I know they don't. Well, historically speaking, there's been a lot of conflict there, but they're very similar. Yeah, from an outsider's perspective. My wife's half Croatian, you see, so that's why I say that. And it's dry and very frank humour, isn't it? If you can get through to them, mate, you nailed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What shirts that you got there? That's a good one.
I got this in Japan. It's a Cliff Burton tribute T-shirt. It's a legit one. It's an it's a Gildan one or whatever from the Metallica, and a licensed one. But yeah, it's 1985. It's I think you and I both agreed on this the last time that Metallica ended the day he died, and that's pretty much been my view since. Not since, but as a fan, that's how I look at it. And I never wanted to buy or wear a Metallica T-shirt, but I'll wear a Cliff Burton T-shirt on any day of the week.
Now I bought myself a Whiplash. Remember the Whiplash EP? I found a T-shirt of that in London. So I bought
the Devil Head?
No, that's
Jump in the Fire. Yeah.
Just with James Hetfield. It was just a 12-inch single, I think.
Oh, nice.
And I listened to Master of Puppets the other day. God, it is a masterpiece. Every minute of that record is excellent.
But you were part of a band that influenced the whole world. Let's face it, Slaughterlord. All of that underground stuff.
Well, it did influence some stuff. It was pretty cult, so.
But you know what I mean? Like there are South American bands covering your stuff to this day, and you appeared on and At the Gates ended up covering you on that enormous LP that they did.
Yeah.
And that one that changed the game, that created, Swedish death metal, put it on the. Well, I wouldn't say put it on the map. Got 1,000 people who disagree with me, but still,
Slaughter of the Soul. They created it. Really helped melodic death metal.
Oh, it's a brilliant album. Frederick Nordstrom, the production and mixing stands up to this day and is still copied now.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great record, that one.
But your song's on there.
Yeah. The Japanese.
It's a big deal. Yeah, but I mean, it's the version you download now has got it on it, so that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, Kingdom did a Slaughterlord cover as well. You know that band?
Say that again, sorry.
They're quite cultish.
Which ones?
Yeah, Heirs Kingdom.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, they're from the States. They did Die by Power as a cover too. They're underground,
Yeah.
Underground. Still in the old days.
But you mentioned Nazxul as well. Nazxul still have a massive, it's cult following, but still.
Yeah, it's always cult. Yeah. It's good. I met these two young lads at the show in Newcastle the other day, and they go, one of them, he goes, I paid a lot of money for an original copy of that Slaughterlord demo. He goes, and we were just listening to Rat Totem on the way in. That was all album.
Yeah. That
charming first album. So relaxing.
The Vampire Records was based in Epping, I think it was.
That's right.
Yeah, so I remember seeing all these bands used to come from faraway places or Newtown or whatever, and if they were in Australia, it was Newtown or so. Or I know Jamie's from Cabramatta, but Aston knew Jamie. But I remember thinking, Eastwood and Epping represent through this black metal album.
Yeah, that's where the guy at Run Vampire used to live up there.
Yeah, Danny
Kalita.
Yeah, I've hit him up many years ago to see if he wanted to have a chat, and I think he said he'd get back to me, but I might hit him up again and just ask him because he had some classic albums on his label.
Yeah. Those were the days. They were fun days.
Have you still got any material from back then, like any of the old LPs and CDs and tapes? Wow.
I've got tons of records. They're all in storage, unfortunately.
I was going to ask you, how do you keep everything intact and safe and sound?
Yeah.
When you're traveling, mate, yeah, that's the thing. I know I haven't looked at my CDs for years, but they're all away in a storage place somewhere. God help me, they're probably all covered in mold now after the floods and everything, but who knows?
I want to look at. I want to get mine out. I've got tons of cool music in there. Bummer. Anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what about, so just from your your comedy work perspective, you've seen the world shift, and you've been doing this for decades now. So, what do you think is the biggest unspoken issue that we're grappling with?
In what, comedy?
Not so much comedy, but you've got some very sharp observations about what's going on around the world around us. So I thought, you're a very worthy person to ask that question.
I don't know. It's too big a complex of an answer. So much going on. I steer away from some of it now. There's so many channels. You can just go and watch people talking about it now. Stuff that used to be your conspiracy theory. Do you know what I mean? And so now I'm going, okay, well, I'm more interested in the side of going, okay, perhaps there's some kind of consciousness evolution going on. You got to deal with your own stuff, just to avoid helping in the manifestation of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I
do.
had a thing that years ago. I thought, I wonder if my comedy's harming stuff, going actually speaking all this stuff into existence. I thought, because it's comedy, it's okay, I think. But I do wonder, can they use us sort of collectively as a giant, a collective subconscious, as like a magic wand,
a hive mind, yeah,
to help manifest the very thing we don't want. Yeah.
Systems are gestalt, I suppose, from that perspective. But when you say they, can you give me some insight as to who you mean by they?
Well, from conspiracy theory world, that goes back into, it goes back into a collection of old blood and family links, doesn't it? And also Jesuits and Freemasons and the Vatican and secret societies and Rosicrucians and whatever else they get up to. How they all connect, I don't know. But and you've got landowners, big landowners across Europe, old money. And then we have the one we all know, like Rothschilds and rah. So sometimes I think, I wonder if they're a smokescreen for the
Rockefellers, yeah.
I wonder if they're sort of the ones, they're the ones we're allowed to play with. But really there's hardcore old school. And then when you get deep core conspiracy, you are talking, giants and other species breeding with earth women and creating us. And so now we're in reptilian and
the Nephilim,
or if you get into Watiko mind virus areas, like with Gnostics and the demiurge and stuff, And is there a the kind of stuff I never brought up in comedy, so it was too full on.
Yeah. Have you thought about threading some of this stuff into your comedy?
Yeah. I don't know how to make it funny though. It's like trying to do jokes about all that lockdown nonsense. It was hard for me to. I didn't write any jokes because it was hard for me to be funny about it because I find it highly disturbing.
Can you be funny about it now? Do you think is enough? Well, the bugger all time has passed, but from the perspective of mining for content.
If I bring out my real opinion on stage. Because now we're not just dealing with people who have different ideology. We're dealing with people who have put things in themselves.
Yeah. Are you concerned for your safety in that perspective, that someone might do something stupid because let's face it, they are doing some pretty stupid things.
No, I just don't know how to make it I could make the actions of, say Victoria or certain politicians funny and stupid. But what I really think about is like when you see that Anthony Fauci guy,
Oh yeah, evil. Yeah,
this
terrible.
This terrible.
He's a liar, mate. He's worse than a liar.
I don't know how he hasn't got a wooden tongue. But
that baffles me that there's not marches on the streets in the United States about him. It's nuts. I don't even know whether I haven't looked into it. I mean, I probably have, but I can't remember for the sake of our conversation if he's been indicted or charged. If he hasn't been, mate, it's a travesty.
Well, they have these things where you can watch American politics on the YouTube stuff, and they're going to bring him in and chat to him and do all this, and he gets run down and so forth. But yeah, nothing ever happens.
Wasn't he given a preemptive pardon by Biden on the day or two before he resigned from office?
Something like that.
That happened, didn't it?
He's a horrifying creature to look at, really.
Oh, what he did with the AIDS virus.
Oh, he's just so smug and just something profoundly wrong. If you can't see there's something profoundly evil with this guy, I don't know what to say to you.
So why do you think the left put these types of people on a pedestal?
I have no idea.
People like him and Biden, for example.
I have no idea. I can't fathom them. I can't even fathom mainstream people where they all go and listen to stupid music that's not that good, but they all like it. They all line up to get Calvin Klein underpants and get $600 sneakers because they're fashionable. I've never been able to work those people out.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's like that Jimmy Dore. Is it Jimmy Dore? He did the joke about COVID. It was funny when people say, you go, so, I wanted to look into this big pharma stuff. And some people said, oh, you're not doing your own research, are you? He goes, now you're against me doing research. He goes, me doing research used to be called reading.
Yeah.
And that's, he goes, if I wanted to buy a new car, you wouldn't go, oh, don't do your own research. Like, just trust the salesman. So it's quite confusing to me. There's many parts of me, like many people I know, just given up on trying to have any kind of. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, Steve. I don't think these people have their own opinion, and I'm not interested in trying to change them. We can't. To me, they are. I'm just astounded. There's this guy on my Facebook page. Somehow I'm friends with, but I'm not really friends with him. Everything he puts up, I go, it's like you've fallen for everything. He thinks he's a moral warrior.
Do you think that's what it's about, though? It seems to be rooted in that, doesn't it? They want to feel morally superior to the great unwashed. Do you share that?
It's utter moral superiority, and just nonsense. Just like we said, you're so far behind. Well, no one's that concerned when someone's gay. I'm sure there's some bloke in a country town who's still a hardcore yobbo. Oh, fuck that fucking gay cunt. Yeah, well, so what? Like, it's a dangerous world. But, so I've just given up and trying to work them out. I can't work them out. They're just ridiculous to me. Just ridiculous, Women walk around going, we don't need men for anything. We don't need any men. Why would you need? See, and I'm supposed to share equality with this trilobite. She wouldn't exist if men didn't exist yet. Somehow she thinks we don't need men for anything, and I'm supposed to be said, well, we're all equal.
Yeah. Well, Pew Research has already found that white women in particular who lean overwhelmingly to the left are suffering from mental health conditions in a big way these days. That's research. There's actual empirical evidence.
That's that joke. Someone who wrote in the comment section, they go, do you know that 51% of American women on some form of mental health medication, this is a tragedy, because that means the other 49% aren't getting the help they need.
Well, you could use that. That's a great one to somehow insert. I think people would keep up with you, though. It's the right time for this sort of stuff to be made fun of.
Yeah, totally. It needs to be made fun of.
Yeah, so is it...
The only problem with that is I don't agree that taking medication from pharmaceutical companies for mental health conditions is a very good idea. So. I mean, it's just a joke, but,
yeah,
it's a good joke.
But do you see... So we've talked about the moral, it's stemming from a moral issue that people want to feel superior, but from your observation, how much of this do you think is a mental health challenge?
Some of them seem to have some mental health issues, don't they? It's almost like they've been given the chance to. It's like everything's inverted, like they go, oh, I've been triggered and now everything needs to accommodate me that I've been triggered. But being triggered is what you want. Therefore, you can have an observation of your interior dimensions. Any psychologist or Zen master or some Buddhist master will tell, well, isn't that great? Now you can see where you're weak in the internal dimensions. Do something about it. So it's like what's good for us inverted again. Don't eat butter and meat. Eat low fat.
Eat bugs.
It's quite easy to work stuff out. Whatever the mainstream's promoting, don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah. Get low fat yogurt and low fat this, and eat Nuttalex and oat milk. Drink milk and butter and red meat with fat on it. Good for your brain.
Yeah. Do you still drink, or have you given up?
Nah, sometimes I have a glass of wine, but yeah, it might be one every 3 months or something. But I never drunk. I used to drink hardcore when I was partying, but otherwise I didn't drink really.
What's your?
I like the Bob Marley more.
Oh, really? Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
I could sit around doing that all night playing guitar, but I don't want to be pissed by myself on a Wednesday night.
No,
it's too intense getting drunk. It's a lot more fun when there's mates and chicks and Black Sabbath records.
You're not wrong. On that point, yeah. Have you plant medicine then? Have you tried anything deeper than what Bob Marley liked? Have you gone into psilocybin or ayahuasca?
Oh, I've done mushrooms and ayahuasca, yeah.
Okay, then we can find common ground on that. What can you share your experience with Aya?
It's just intense. I was dealing with hardcore depression and that didn't fix it. So I heard other people go, oh, great winged creatures took me and flew me off. Well, no, none of that happened for me. I sat there, felt like the universe had its boot on my face. I remember turning to this shaman guy and going, geez, this is intense against you. I know, keep breathing. That's all he said. Went all right. That was pretty rough. I'm not into that anymore. I've seen too many dark recesses of my own mind now. I'm like, no, I don't. Before I just go, yeah, I'll have some mushrooms. Now I'm like, nah. I think I've done me dash. I don't want to slip and fall in the interior world and not come back.
Well, it's rare, but that can happen.
Yeah, I know. It's like that Ministry album, the mind is a terrible thing to taste. Remember? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about Aya is, I've attended many ceremonies, and once you're in, you're in. You're in there for a couple of hours, more sometimes, and your intention has got to be very clear when you're there, and there's lots that can go on, and you have to be very brave, as you know. She's the high priestess. She shows you everything that maybe you don't want to see, but she wants you to work on to be a better person. Yeah. That's how she works, And I've done mushroom ceremonies or psilocybin ceremonies as well, which weren't as fun, I've got to say. At the time I was drinking still fairly heavily, and I felt like I could see there was like an argument happening between the two, like between alcohol, the spirit of alcohol, and psilocybin. And so I basically suffered through that because of that. I came out the other side fine, but I've given up drinking these days. So I microdose it and it helps with sleep patterns and the like. I don't get any visuals, but it just helps the sleep patterns.
No, right, that's good. That's cool.
Yeah, microdosing, recommend it highly.
Yeah, an Irish guy, I met in Cork, was recommending that. They were fun. They were fun people.
So how did you release your debut solo album? That's the now it came back to me. That's the reason we actually had a chance to be introduced to each other was because of that. Have you followed up on that and see how the streaming numbers are and the like?
No, I've only put it out on vinyl. I want to put it out on it hasn't been out on the. I had some video clips made and they were taken off for a while because some guy was chasing some weird copyright bullshit nonsense that people come in and claim copyright. So I just took them off for a while. But apparently my agent was telling me, yeah, that's what happens. But I want to get the CD released because I just put out some vinyls of it, which I've got a copy of here.
So sweet, yeah, it'd be great to see it.
Yeah, these are the ones that are getting used for merch. So I didn't sign my album myself. It's for a punter. So that's the vinyl.
That's it. Nice work. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
yeah. That turned out good.
Yeah, that's fantastic, mate. Yeah,
and I want to do another one. In fact, 2 days ago, I started picked this back up.
Nice.
And
the old Mockingbird. Yeah,
it is. Found it in Cash Converters for $250.
Is it a copy or is it a
BC?
It's a
copy, of course.
BC Rich. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah,
we've got no American deal going on here, but it's in perfect nick. So for $250, I'd buy it just to have it to look at the shape.
Yeah. You remember Guitar World down in Parramatta?
Yeah,
I think it was Guitar World. I remember buying a Mockingbird from down there back in the mid-90s. Yeah.
That was the best. I used to get all my drum stuff.
Yeah.
I like the old days.
Yeah, you'd make a big day out of it, wouldn't you? Go into the guitar shop and just hang out.
Yeah. Totally. I used to hang in there for hours, chat with the guys that work there, hitting kits, mucking about, buying second-hand cymbals. It was great fun.
Yeah. Did you get, being in Nazxul and Slaughterlord, did you know Brad Sims and the Warhead crew very well?
Yeah. Big time.
Oh yeah. What are your memories of that scene?
Yeah. My mate, whose house I'm at the moment, he worked in Brad Sims' shop.
Okay, there you go.
In Parramatta. Where is Brad Sims? Must be still around somewhere, I guess.
I had a text interaction with him many years ago now. I think he's up my way, mate.
I thought he was up that way.
Gold Coast or northern New South Wales somewhere. A lot of people retreating in northern New South Wales, as you know. It's a bit cheaper and the lifestyle's better, far superior to what you can get in Sydney, to be honest with you. I don't blame him at all for doing that. But I think him and it's Julie, isn't it, his wife? I think, the lady that used to work in Warhead. Yeah. I take it they're both up there, but I've been wanting to get him on the show to talk about things, but we'll see, if that happens or it doesn't. But it's a period of time that I was speaking to Eric and some of the other guys from the Amenta, the blokes in the Amenta.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they like me. They're school kids at the same era, so we remember going in there as young fellas and buying, Jamie's Lord Chaos album and a few other things. There's a few other things back there, but you must have fond memories of that time.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's just excellent, man. I sometimes wonder: is it just reminiscing of youth, or we did have good youth in that sense. It was a lot of action, wasn't there? There was a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Mind you, the 2000s were good for me too, because I was ripping it up in comedy in England, just doing the circuit, met tons of cool people. That was fun too. Then 2014 came and it all went to shit.
Well, your videos from the early 2000s that are on YouTube, my wife and I just watched one before getting onto the call, mate. It's got a couple of million views.
I know, they're the ones I didn't put up there. I know. Someone just put it up there.
You're resonating, you're connecting with people.
On the That's my buddy in actor mate in London calls me. He goes, "You're the best known, least known comedian around."
That's pretty true.
Yeah,
That's exactly it. That's crazy, but that's about the truth, because your style of comedy would resonate with way more people if they had an opportunity to hear you.
Yeah, I reckon. That's why I'm going out and doing these tours and these. I want to get out to rural areas, start going to Bathurst and Wagga and, Lismore, Tamworth, and get up, just get normal people.
Yeah, try and get up to Townsville and Cairns and Bundy, mate.
Totally.
That's where to go. That's what I reckon, Guy. When I was in Bundy, I noticed his sign was up there, so he's been up there too, whatever his name is. The "That's What I Reckon" bloke. I don't know what his real name is, but
he's Australian.
He's Australian. He's got long hair. He's an interesting looking guy. He's a metalhead.
I think, did he do that?
Cooking book?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a bit left of centre from memory. I could be wrong, but I think from memory he sort of resonates with the COVID crowd, I'm going to call it. But you're more of us salt of the earth. You resonate with us salt of the earth types, and probably a bit older too, focusing on that Gen X age group as well. That's a really good piece of feedback for you, actually, is the two gigs that I went to recently were Doug Stanhope and Yao Ying Summers, and the crowd was virtually the same at both, all over 40.
Yeah.
You know that? So that's your audience.
Yeah, totally. People who grew up in reality.
Yeah. People who experience a shift into digital but still have our roots in the analog world.
And experience a shift from sanity to insanity.
Do you find that you have to work on your routine? Like, how long does it take you to develop? And is it about an hour long set, I take it, or hour and a half, is it?
Yeah, it's at least an hour, usually an hour 20. I just, if I'm touring, I start to write a lot of comedy. Because I've got a chance to do it every night. If I'm not touring, I write the ideas down, but I don't sit there and focus and work every day like Jerry Seinfeld probably would when he was young. Because I've got nowhere to do it. Comedy has to come alive on stage,
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's no practice. There's no practice for a studio or, I write ideas down all the time. I've got my, where are they? We're done with it.
Have you thought about doing a special?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Is that in the can or in the works maybe?
I had one in the can, but it's so old now and I'm having some issues with certain things about it that I might scrap it and record another one. Here's how I write. I just write stuff.
Yeah.
Ideas. Tons of words and then whittle it down till it's...
So it's still a very visceral thing for you. It's not like you're recording speech into the iPhone and refining it using AI or what have you. You're actually writing everything down.
No, I don't go near AI. So this is a good idea. This Leslie Jones, this actress woman in America, she went, most white people are racist. Not all of them, most. I guess the white people who aren't racist are probably the black ones, right? So that's most white people are racist. We don't understand the microaggressions. We don't understand the racist stuff that we do by accident.
Yeah.
Just from being white, entitled motherfuckers.
Right, okay. I bet she's happy. I bet she's happy with herself.
So I wrote, right, so we're white, entitled motherfuckers. So not only are we racist, but we're fucking our mums. Which is not a microaggression in my case. I like to fuck me mum with me massive racist privileged dick.
Has that been shared yet? Have you used that one?
No, I have. I just written this down.
The thing about your comedy, though,
this is the idea. Yeah. I'm giving away jokes that haven't been birthed yet, folks. This is the idea about lefties. What I find strange about these statements, this is, why are you so shocked if we admit to being racist when apparently you already know that we are?
But it's not just about the joke with you, Steve. It's your delivery and your timing is perfect.
The timing's good. Got that from lots of experience in drumming, I reckon.
It must be something to do with it because
Yeah.
you still look like a musician. That's the thing. I know you
Yeah.
are one, but it's one thing to look like one if you still are one.
I know. I met this guy at this gig the other night I did, and he walks up to me. He goes, "Oh, mate, so glad you came to town." He goes, I love the jokes." He goes, "I'm a musician." I went, "I know, mate. You should have seen this guy." there's no way you're anything else.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned AI. You've got some opinions on AI.
Oh, no, not really. I just don't touch it. I don't go near it. It's just, I'm not into digital world. I'll go back to 1985 in a heartbeat. I was upset when they brought dishwashers in. Yeah. So, I mean, this is all fun. I could talk to my mates on here and all that, because they said, "Oh, you have to give it all up. We'll go back." I go, "All right."
Yeah.
Because you've made things that were easy hard. You just, I know mates that buy whole programs for editing and that because that's their job, and then they just redo it all, and now they have to spend 2 days trying to find all the things they've gotten used to because for some reason the computer decides to change. It's like this is a stupid world at the behest of just some other thing. Suddenly you wake up one morning and we've moved the time on your iPad to the other side now. Why? Oh, but we're creatures of habit. I look there, and there you go, "Oh, we'll put it over there now." It's like when I go to delete videos like this, it used to just go like that. You press it, deletes, and now you press it and it goes, "This video has been removed." And it just sits there.
Yeah.
Now I have to go back to the history originals to get rid of it. Like, what is the point of this? I know it was gone. It was gone. Now you're taking up space is why you'll get rid of this to get the space back. Now you fill it with space of the same size video telling me that it's gone. I'm like, who did this? Why have we done this? Things just vanish from there. It's like waking up in the morning, all your Slayer CDs are turned into Fleetwood Mac. Who did this? Oh, we did in the night. Please stay out of my life. Now you can't even get a CD player in the car. I'm like, just stop trying to improve everything. Leave it alone. I don't need a six CD stacker. One's fine. Goes in, comes out. Right. I don't need to go. Is it this one? No, it's playing the fourth one. Stop making things.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. In the car, I've still got a CD player in one of my cars, and that's
Same
an issue.
there, because I've got an old car. I'm going to hate the day I have to. God forbid if someone wanted me to have a new car that beeps and
CarPlay. You haven't experienced the joy of CarPlay yet. I hate it. I can't. It's not quite there yet. That's the truth. It's horrible. Yeah. And that's in a Toyota too, which is probably the best one on the market, but it's just not quite there yet.
I'm going to have to make a move.
All right, sweet. Well, it's been a great chat, Steve. I'm going to be at either Fitzy's or at the Wallaby.
Oh, cool.
My wife and I are going to be
there.
Come on down,
folks. If you see this, Fitzy's or the Wallaby, do we have the dates? I don't have the dates on me.
I'll put them on. I'll put them in the episode description.
The dates are there.
Yeah, they'll all be in there. We'll do this. Yeah, I'll make sure everybody knows about it. But, mate, yeah, never enough time. But I really appreciate you all giving me any of your time, actually. I really enjoy your work and look forward to seeing you when you play up here, mate.
Beautiful. Look forward to it. Well. Oh, maybe you can have a soda water. I might have a red wine. Go crazy.
Go crazy, mate. Don't worry. I'll chink you from the audience. Don't worry.
All right, brother. No worries.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that one. And if you're offended by anything we said, fuck off. Neither of us care. But for the rest of you, I appreciate it. You're legends. You're awesome. The show recently clicked over 500,000 views on YouTube alone. God knows what I'm up to now if you include the original podcasting platform Whooshka, the short time that it was with Anchor or Spotify podcasts, and now with Podbean. But it's not unreasonable to say that it'd be pushing somewhere in the vicinity of 700,000 or 800,000 streams globally since I launched back in May of 2017. And to you who give a shit, I really appreciate it. All right, that's it from me. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and I'm the host of Scars and Guitars. Until the next one, it's a goodbye for now.